In part one of this little movie series, we showed you how to make a starry sky like this. So if you haven't watched that already, you might want to go back and do that so you can see how we did this part. And there were a couple of variations in that first movie. Now we want to take it a little step further to see what else we can do to make it look perhaps a little more dramatic and then actually add it in to an image. I'm going to set my colors back to the default right now by pressing D for default and then switching them. Could have also pressed X to do that. And I'm going to pick a different color instead of white here. I'm going to pick kind of a purpley, dark purple kind of color that might have the dramatic impact that I'm going for. I'm going to take the gradient tool. It's still set to radial from the last time I used it. I want to go from purple to black, but I want to set the opacity a little lower because I want it to basically paint over the top of this black on the background. I could do it on its own layer, but for this demonstration I'm just going to put it right on the background here and just drag and create a little bit of a purplish glow, but it's very subtle. Actually, I think I'm going to take it just a little step further, perhaps, something like that. There we go. Now, I have another image already sitting over here waiting for a new sky. You can see it's very much of a daytime photo. So let's do this. Let's attempt to select the sky. I'm going to use the magic wand and hold on the Shift key to basically add into my selection so that ultimately I will get the entire sky selected. If I had more time, I'd be very careful to make sure I had all these bits and pieces, but for now that looks like it'll do the trick. So I'm just going to stick with that for a moment, then go back to our other image. Now keep in mind I have two layers here and I want to keep them separate, so I'm just going to do this. Select all, and there is a command called copy merge. For the shortcut is Shift Command or Shift Control C, and that will copy like a merged version of all the layers, so that way I get everything copied. Now go back to my building and we're going to choose paste into. So then we'll get our starry sky there. Now I deliberately use paste into because it creates a mask, but I can still move things, so I can shift this up a little bit. I want to get a little bit of that kind of purple in there a little bit more. So it looks pretty good except for the fact that the sky's in the building's in daylight and it's a starry sky, so that doesn't work so well. So let's try this. Let's add a levels adjustment layer. And let's see if we can't darken things up a little bit so it looks more like it's during the evening even there. So we'll just pull some of these sliders in, make things darker, something like that. Now I could go pretty dramatic at first to the point where it looks pretty dark, something like that. But I want it to look a little bit more realistic, so a simple thing we could do is simply take our paintbrush, just go ahead and get a small little brush that happens to be around the size of these lights, and we'll just paint with black on our adjustment layer mask so it looks like these lights are kind of turned on. And then if we wanted to, of course, we could go in here. I'll just lower the opacity of my brush down because I want to see this front part of the building a little more than we can right now because the levels adjustment made it really quite dark, something like that. We might just lighten that's a little bit too much. Make the opacity even lower and just put a little bit of light on the very top, something like that. So that just shows you how you can take that basic starry sky idea, and it's a very basic one. I haven't really done the greatest job in the world, but again, my goal here is to show you the possibility, and then you can take this and make it actually look super duper realistic because you're not trying to restrict yourself to like a 2 or 3 minute movie. So check it out for yourself. Well, this is Dave Cross, and if you watched the part one of this movie, you just know what's coming, don't you? I mean, you know it. You just had to know it, didn't you? I mean, I'm sure you did. See you next time.